Hello, good afternoon, and welcome at the 9 months results presentation of the DNR Group. Today we will, of course, present the financials, also the operational results, as well as the current ongoing projects, like, of course, the Straja project, but also the finalization of our compost plant, as well as the recent signed contract with Black Sea Oil and Gas for the biomethane production. And at the end as well, we will give some information as well for some expectations for next year. The CFO is also present, Gabriel Tico, and the CEO as well, Jan de Boer. Gabriel will participate on the part of the financials, of course, and also everyone will be present at the Q&A. You can ask questions in the Q&A box. We will, through efficiency reasons, answer the questions at the end of the presentation. Also, I would like to draw your attention that the presentation will be recorded and also will be published after the presentation, either today or latest tomorrow, as well as that there is a translation to Romanian, so that you could arrange as well, so to follow it easier. So again, thank you very much for joining us today. It are tough times on the stock exchange, at least since especially since last weekend, and maybe also because of our results, but I think yeah, that are tough days. So let's move on and let's look to the future. Let me see to the first slide. Yeah, so of course, at the moment we have our doubling strategy, and our main goal for this year is to reach 60 million liters, deliver 60 million liters to the process plants. We are clearly on track on that. And also for our doubling strategy by the end of 2027 or first part of 2028, we are still on track on that, and to become the largest milk producer in the EU. And to produce by the end of 2028 approximately 100 million liters on an annual basis, which means over 300,000 liters per day. Then this is the, let me see. Oh, yeah. So yeah, then we go directly to the stock exchange. At the time we had at the end of September, we had a market cap of 50 million euros. Also, we had the largest weight in the Beto Arrow index, and that is still also up to today. Of course, this year we were also included in the MSCI Frontier Small Cap and in the MSCI Romania Small Cap indices. Also, we had two coverage report this year by Prime Transaction and BRK Financial Group. The last update from Prime Transaction on the 21st of October was an updated price for 1.76, and BRK Financial Group, their last news around this report was on August 7th, and they updated the price to 1.75 with a buy recommendation. Also, I think it's good to mention it was especially on the IR a really busy week so far. We had the awards ceremony from the ARIR, that is the Investors Relations Communication Association in Romania. We had the awards ceremony, and DNR was really successful. From the 5 categories that there were, we were #1 in 4 categories. We were awarded with the best IR department, best annual report, best company representative in the capital market, and best ESG performance and communication. So we are, yeah, of course, we are really proud of this achievement, and as well, we also really appreciate it was done by a jury from retail investors, institutional investors, pension funds, to further support us, and this is totally, of course, to the IR part and communication part, to further support us to be innovative and also to further increase our visibility, and of course the communication with you all. Then to the share performance, if we look to since listing, and of course this is all till September, it was we had a growth of 125%. Year to year, we had a growth at that time till 53%. Of course, if we look today, the last couple of days, yeah, that of course is a little bit demolished, let's say, but we hope after the election this weekend, or probably next week, that things will look better again. Also, we see a huge increase in the number of shareholders. When we started, we had 117, now we have over 3,000. So also, if there are any new shareholders here today, I welcome you especially as well, and welcome, and I'm happy that you are a part of our family now. So let's go to the results, and Gabriel will take over from this part.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you again for the presentation of the financial results of DN Agrar. In the following moments, we will see the financial results for the 9 months. And you can see on the screen the turnover increased in the 9 months of 2024 with 9%, reaching a figure of 126 million lei. The net profit had a slight decrease of 5.6%, reaching 21 million lei. Still, the EBITDA was going up with 7.6% until 50 million lei. The net assets, you can see, went up with 11%, 11.7%, and now is 258 million lei. Total assets again was increased with 11.64% up to 343.78 million lei, and also the equity increased with 15.66%. Then we will see the factors that influence the 9 months results. The increase of the turnover by 9% in the first 9 months of 2024 was due to the increase of milk produced and sold. This performance was supported by reaching a figure of 47 million liters, an increase of 14% compared to 2023. When in that period, DN Agrar produced 41 million liters of milk. The increase of expenses related to the raw materials by 5% was due to the increase in global prices, also due to the increase of number of animals. There was also an increase of the personal expenses by 10% due to the changes in tax facilities in agriculture, plus new taxes for meal vouchers in 2024, as health contribution is paid in addition. The increase in corporate income tax expenses by 22%. This was registered as an increase in the first 9 months with 23% compared to 2023 because of the revaluation of the construction in December 2023. The granting of the subsidies has decreased by 8% in 2024 due to the fact that in 2024 APIA does not give subvention for the Ukraine aggression war. And on the other hand, APIA made recalculations that impacted the subsidies granted for zootechnical activity, which led to a reduction of 825,000 RON. There was also an increase in the depreciation. The increase of the depreciation in the first 9 months of 2024 was 20% due to the revaluation of the constructions at the end of 2023, in the sense of the increase. There was also an increase in revenue from production of tangible assets. So in the third quarter of 2024, this increase in fixed assets production and decrease in income related to the cost of production in progress were observed as due to the increase of the number of fixed assets, dairy cows from young cattle of own production, as also ongoing investments for vegetable crops for agriculture for year 2025. In the next slides, you can see an evolution of the last 4 years of the turnover. You can see there is a significant growth from 2021, 9 months, till now, from approx 30 million lei to 126 million lei, which is now. EBITDA also the same, from 8.7 till 50 million. And net profit also, there is a big increase from approx 3 million in 2021 till 21 million in 2024. In the next slides, we will see the variations of the P&L. Operating revenues amounted to 193 million, as an increase of 7% due to the same period of last year. Operating expenses increased by 10% as at September 30, 2024, reaching 162 million. The main contribution came from expenses related to value adjustment for tangible and intangible assets, which amounted 19 million, with a 20% increase compared to the same period last year. Revenues from production of tangible fixed assets saw 136% increase, reaching 14 million. This growth occurred as a result of registration of young dairy cows, which entered the milk production process as fixed assets. Equity increased by 16% compared to December 31st, 2023, reaching 154 million. This increase was driven by the recording of a net profit of 20 million lei as of September 30, 2024. Long-term liabilities registered an increase compared to the end of 2023. And the balance of long-term liabilities, you can see, is 103 million lei. Provision decreased by 96% compared to the end of 2023. And compared to the end of 2023, there was also an increase in long-term loans contracted from Exim Bank with 25 million lei, rise of 226%, as a result of finance agreement that we signed with Exim Bank for 9.2 million euro, contracted in April 2024 for the construction project of DN Agrar Straja Farm, as well as a refinancing carried out for the loans from ING Bank. Thank you very much for your attention. Next, Peter will take over.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gabriel, for the clarifications. And then we go on quickly to the overview, and especially on the operational indicators. So as we said already, we saw an increase of 14% throughout the year. Of course, that the percentages and the growth rate decreased a bit throughout the year. Especially you could see over here where we see more in the summer period. If we look more in this summer period, the differences were quite small or insignificant, you could say. And of course, when we see the first part of the year, we saw more significant increases. It was mainly due to the fact that the heat wave this year started quite early, since half of May. Although you see here on the table still quite an increase in May, and only after that, if we look here more to the next month, you see more a flat growth, or close to flat growth. This mainly due that the heat wave started at mid-May, and it was also in June, July, August, September as well. And compared to last year, this period was shorter, as you could also see in the table on the orange lines. That was more balanced month by month, and there were not this huge difference from beginning to the year to the summer period. And I saw also yesterday when I had my my interview at Field of Markets at 5 p.m. till 6, there was one comment, and I think it was not asked during the interview. It was about but the milk prices are already on average or above average or whatsoever. Also, when you have a heat wave, to mention, the milk price is built up with, if you have a base price, of course, but you have also a bonus for fat and protein. And you can imagine during this heat wave, you have not only a decline in liters produced, but it has also an effect on your fat and protein production. So, which means automatically that you get a smaller bonus as well. So far, in other years, generally, we were not really affected so much with this bonus, and usually we maintained the parameters that we need to maintain to receive the bonus. But in those summer months, we struggled also with it because this period was so long. So in the end, it had also a consequence on the fat and protein, which also had a consequence on the internal price that we received from our processors. So to clarify that as well. Still, we have an average of over 5 million liters throughout the year, and we are clearly on the trajectory of the 60 million liters, and I think it will be a little bit over 60 million liters delivered by the end of the year. So if we go to the milk market and to see a bit, okay, where are things going? Of course, we see that the amount of milk collected on the regional level, in Romania, we see the whole year already growth. In Poland as well, Hungary as well. So that is a general sign in the region, but especially Romania, especially to Poland, shows quite a significant growth. And if we look on the European market, and this is based more or less on the Italian price. If we go to the dot line with with yellow and red dots, and we go, so there's this line, what we see over here. Let me see, we can try this a bit. Yeah, over here. There we see the spot milk price. So that is the day price, how it is sold at that day. And the spot milk price is always advanced from the general milk price, where our milk price somehow is connected to, okay, our milk price is connected to Northwestern European, somehow an average, but this gives a clear sign. And the spot price is still going up quite significantly also in November. And as our, so the signs are good. The milk price will further increase in November. As it means that now the spot price is increasing, that means that automatically normally also the fixed price or whatever your price have, but the price that farmers receive on contracts, that it in December will grow, because that price will follow afterwards of the spot market price. So if we go here we see the 9 months milk price evolution. The blue line is 2022, and the green line is the current year, and of course the orange line is last year. So of course you see we had in the beginning here this huge difference between 2023 and 2024 that we changed now. At the moment, on a monthly basis, we are above the price from last year, and this is connected to us. So that's the reason we cannot add values to it, but still to give you an image how things are going. Then if we take the other slide, here we let's see so far. Here we have the average of here we have as well the 9 months evolution, and here we have also the average of 2023 and the average of 2024 up to September. And you still see here that we have so far that we are under the average in the first 9 months. We are under the average of 2023. And I also saw, Gabriel mentioned already, one thing that had impact on the results was the 20% increase in the depreciation. That was on the other hand, which was due to the revaluation, but also that more hybrids transformed into productive cows. So also then there you start to depreciate on. And as well that we had a lower milk price per liter of approx 4.89%, 4.9%. So still in the first 9 months, we still had almost 5% reduction of milk price compared to last year. So of course that had also an effect. And then next to that, we had the heat wave with the consequences also on the fat and protein. Then to see where we are heading to. So you see now we know already the price until January that we will get. So you see the dark green line That's even up to January 2025, and also the average line. And if we look to the light green line, that's the average line of 2024, and the light orange line from 2023, then we see that by the end of the year, so if we calculate also October, November, and December, that we will come above the average price of last year. But so far, up to the 9 months, to be very clear, we were all the time still under the average price of 2023. But the outlook is good, and you see there's quite a sharp increase also in January, where we see the line continues. And we expect not significant declines or stabilizations, at least up to April. And as normal trend follows, normally in the summer we will see probably a small decline. But generally speaking, we see high demand on the world market for milk. And also we expect in our estimations, in the scenarios that we are preparing now and already for 2030, that we expect, in generally speaking, to maintain it also in the future on a more higher level. Not necessarily higher than now, but more in the region that we are today. Then we go to the cereal production. I also mentioned that the half-year season for the January was quite a successful cereal production year. So we had a heat wave for the animals, which was not so successful, but we had sufficient rainfall in the Transylvania region. I think it's the only region in Romania who had a successful agricultural year, where of course we harvested. We had 4 harvests for Lucernum. With the triticale silage crop, we saw an increase of production with 38%, and also the maize silage, the corn silage crop, we saw an increase in 21%. So we saw quite a significant increase in stocks for food, so which will be consumed the major part next year. Also, we increased the uses of no-till technology and low-till technology on several aspects, as well as that we invested in machinery that can fertilize and sow simultaneously, so in one run. This should reduce up to 40% of seeding costs, and it's also helpful for soil health because you do everything in one process, so you don't need to go 2 times with your equipment and machinery over the fields. As well, for the no-till usage, etc., we started the process to obtain voluntarily certificates, which can be traded. At the moment, the voluntary certificates, they have a value of 18 to 20 euros. We expect that this will go up in the coming years, 1 to 2 years, to 30 euros. Also, on the level of the United Nations, currently, there exists the European trading system, the ETS system, where you can trade certificates of origin on the whole European market. At the moment, you can already sell the voluntary certificates all over the world, but they are discussing on the level of the United Nations to also develop a sort of European, but then a worldwide trading system, which is comparable to the ETS, the European trading system, which will make it even easier when you have a common market where you can sell the certificates through. And that, of course, will help as well to further increase the price of those certificates. Then we go quickly onto the projects. Of course, first, to come back to our strategy, we want to build a major European milk producer, or even our goal is, of course, to become the largest in the EU. And to have a production of over 300,000 liters per day with 4 farms, and to produce on an annual basis 100 million liters with a herd over 20,000 cows and young stock. And the projects who need to contribute by doubling our business. Since listing, we tripled our business, and currently we are in the second phase of our strategy to double our business. That is, of course, the Straja farm. This is will be finalized or fully operational, so that means fully equipped with all the animals at the end of 2027. Our compost plant, we start operations, which has started already operations currently. And of course, in the coming year, the development of the biomethane facility, which is currently, the biomethane facility is currently not in our scenarios yet. We will update our scenarios and we will publish them next year. And that will include also the expectations on the financial indicators till 2030 for the biomethane. Also, there will become an update from the compost part, and we will revise as well the farms. So how will it look like? Okay, we have a Strasje farm which needs to produce 100,000 liters per day. We will have an Apold farm which needs to produce 100,000 liters per day. The Koet farm 50,000 liters per day. The Lacto Agrar farm between 60 and 65,000 liters per day. And of course, we have our Youngstock farm as well as that we are currently actively looking to grow to M&A as well, to 1 or 2 transactions. As soon as we have something to mention about this, of course, we will inform you first through the usual channels. Then we go to the Strasje project. Yeah, unfortunately, we have quite a delay in the Strasje project. The initial plan for the Strasje project had as the newest farm for 5,000 animals, approximately 4,000 dairy cows and 1,000 animals of Youngstock, and a production of 100,000 liters per day. I see on the slides, okay, we have 3,800. We upgraded a little bit our plans. The initial plan was to start milking at those farms with the first 600 cows here in September. Due to the rainfall again, which was good for the agriculture part, but it was quite terrible during the foundation works for the farm. We have quite a significant delay. Now everyone is working really hard. And this weekend, the construction guys from Dairy Master, that is the company where we purchased the milking parlor from, they will start to install the first rotor, which will take 3 to 4 weeks. So that is a big next step in the production, as well as that we finalized already the stables for over 1,000 animals. So we are progressing there, but we will not start to milk this year, but it will be in the beginning of 2025. Still, although we have currently a delay, there are two advantages, let's say, of the delay as well. The first one is regarding the subsidies. Normally we would have entered only with a few animals in the first couple of months, which means the subsidy season goes from March till March. And then you would only receive for those animals in the coming years subsidies. Now, because of the delay, we will be able to register way more animals and liters of milk for the subsidy part, so that will be beneficial in the years after to come. Also, I would really like to state that the end date of 2027 doesn't come into danger whatsoever. We are really confident and sure that the whole project will be fully operational by the end of 2027, especially that the main stable and the milking parts, etc. We are dependent on external constructors, etc., but all the other small stables, etc., which need to be built afterwards, they're all done with our construction team, and we are completely on schedule on that part. Then we go to the first. Here you see, these are some old pictures we put in the report. You could see it was still sunny. The roof is still quite open here, but we continued already further to close it, etc. Somewhere by the end of December, I think, or beginning of January, we will make another movie, and we will give you an update as well on the progress we made over there. Then we go quickly to the compost plant. Of course, we had this compost plant with an investment of 1.8 million euros, where we will start to produce organic fertilizer. This will be a new business lines of the DNAgro Group, which means on a yearly basis we can produce 7,000 tons of organic fertilizer. The input is 21,000 tons, and from that you get 7,000 tons. How the process works, we see the picture here. We see the picture here, and the machine, it's 2 rows. Only our building looks a bit different. And what will happen is you enter it at the beginning of the plant, and then for 27 days it rotates. It gets over 70 degrees, and it rotates twice per day. This machine goes back and forth over it. And by the end of 27 days, the end product comes out of is at the end of the hall. And that's also the reason that it takes 2 or 3 months. So it takes almost one cycle takes 1 month. So it takes 2 or 3 months to optimize and to find the right recipe. So you can register it as organic fertilizer. Because as I said, it takes first 1 month till you have the first results. Then you will change something about the recipe, about the pre-composting. And then, of course, you have this cycle again of 27 days. First, we will start to register it as organic fertilizer in Romania. And then afterwards, we will also register it at organic fertilizer on European level. Anyway, the prices per ton are quite good. At the moment in Romania, organic fertilizer per ton is between 230 and 300 euros if you sell it in big bag quantities per ton. And the production costs are, including a value for the manure that you put in, are somewhere between 45 and 50 euros. So there is a really good profit margin, I would say. Next year, of course, we will, or now in this year, next year, we will use to optimize the recipe, then to register, which takes several months as well, to register the product as organic fertilizer. Because if you would not register it as organic fertilizer, the sales price could be, let's say, 70 euros instead of 230 or 300 euros. So that doesn't make so much sense. So first we optimize the recipe, then register it as organic fertilizer, and from then we will start to sell out of the group. Next year we will sell a part outside of the group. We saw a huge interest after the press release. We have already many contacts who just announced them by themselves who like to purchase manure, which also brought us on the idea, at least to start to think to also construct a compost plant near the Lacto Agrar farm. At least we will start the analyze phase, etc. Investment decisions will be taken probably next year somewhere, but we will start at least the pre-analyze phase for land, etc. Next to that, we expect to get voluntary certificates. I mentioned already which we will obtain for the land, and for this we will also obtain voluntary certificates, voluntary carbon certificates. We expect to receive approximately 16,000 for one plant, and which we can sell. So that means another income stream. So we have an income stream by the sales of organic fertilizer and the sales of voluntary certificates. Then we go to the deal with Black Sea Oil and Gas. Of course, I hope you have noticed this in the media. This is the largest contract we have signed so far in our history. This will be a plant for biomethane production. It is we closed more or less a sales agreement. So the Agrar needs to deliver the feedstock, and for that feedstock we get an X amount per ton, which leads in the end with a 15-year contract of approximately 50 million euros, and that means approximately yearly revenues between 3 and 3.5 million euros, which we will receive. Currently, we are working already on a lot of things, think of land, of permitting, etc. So it is an ongoing process. Of course, some things in Romania need to be organized, especially on government level. So it is still not allowed to inject into the grid, although we see positive changes. Also, Heineken announced in Romania to invest in biomethane production for their own fabrics, together with Engie. And there's already a legislation under consultation, etc. To open this market, as well as the Romanian government, its own strategy, has its own strategy that in 2030, 5% of the gas needs to be biomethane injection into the grid, and in 2050 that needs to be 10%. So we expect to execute all of this in approximately 2 years from now, or maximum 2.5 years. Of course, with the remark that, of course, gas injection or injection into the grid needs to be possible. But there's nothing, I think, that will withhold the government to do this, as this is already a common practice in all of Europe. Yes. So yeah. So this was more or less the presentation. First, I would like to address one more thing is before we go to the questions. Yesterday, I was at the trade fair quarterly reporting event, and there was one question asked from a person who said, why there is such a significant increase in the financial expenses. And I didn't fully understand the question because the financial expenses decreased with us. So at that time, I thought, okay, probably he means the expensive, and I answered the expenses in itself and not the financial expenses. So I answered, okay, that is due to raw material, we had salary increases, etc. But still to clarify, because we have this question had also in the past in regards to the financial expenses, and we saw a decrease of approximately 20%, and this was mainly influenced by the evolution of exchange rates. In January and September 2023, we had variations of the euro and lei between 4.88 and 4.97. And in the same period this year, the euro was more constant around 4.97. So that was the reason of the decrease, but the question was asked for an increase. So from there, to avoid any miscommunication. Yes, so then for next year, as I said already, as this is the end of the year, so next year probably it is possible that we will decide for an extra compost plant, as well as for the production of wheat grass. We expect to take that decision next year as well. Production of wheat grass with a constant protein level through a vertical farm. Also that we expect to announce more next year. We are working on that. We have the offers, etc. already. So now further we need to see the design, etc. So it's not off our projects or whatsoever. The same is with the solar panels. We don't know the reason why the projects are delayed, although they are approved. But what I know in general is that the European Commission froze certain subsidies to Romania because there are certain issues. So I assume this is the main reason for it. So we wait for the final document, and then still we will install the solar panels probably next year on the roofs of the farms. Yeah, so I think I have everything mentioned. Also in the coming period, we will publish the financial calendar. Also, we will have an Investors Day next year, which will for sure include the visit to the compost plant, as well as to the new farm in Straja. Yeah, that being said, also I think if you would like still also to see more information, I participated, as I said already yesterday, between 5 and 6 at Field of Markets, as well as a bit after 6, I presented the Enagras results and some other information as well at Tradefield Quarterly Reporting. Both are registered and published online, which you could also watch back. So now we go quickly to the questions. Daniela, please help me.
Yes, sure. So we have also questions that were sent in advance, and also questions that we invite the participants to address. One of the first question that was now addressed, it's how will the movement of cows from Apold to Straja influence the subsidy that you will get? You start saying something about it at Field the Market, but the host interrupted. Can you please finish your thoughts?
Yeah, so the registration of subsidy, a subsidy year goes from March till March. So let's say if we would now bring in January, February, I don't know, we will bring 500 cows, let's say, I don't know, or 600 cows. That means that even in the years after, then that is the first time you start to operate a new farm on a certain registration code. And that will mean that also in the years after, so in 26, 27, 28, until they renew the reference date. So that will be then the reference date. Until they renew the reference date, even if you have 2,000 cows on that farm, you will only receive the subsidies for those 500 or 600 cows, as well as for the liters of milk produced in this period. So now that we are so close to the 1st of March, it makes mostly sense to start the milk production in March. Then we have a whole year from March 2025 till March 2026 to fill up the farm and to milk as much liters as we can in that period, and to have as much and a head of animals in the farm, which means that is the first registration year. In that year, you don't get subsidies for the Straja farm, but after that, you have a way higher number of animals and liters of milk for the years after, which calculate as the reference date for which you will receive the subsidies. I hope it is clear, or please let me know if it is clear. Otherwise, I'll try to explain it even more precise.
The next question is also related to the subsidy, and it's a completion of to the first one. Will you get a subsidy in 2025 for the cows in Straja? I am asking because Straja had 0 cows in 2018.
Yeah, so no, so that is what I say. Of course, when you an existing farm, it goes back to the reference date of 2018. Of course, when you start a new farm, it gets the reference date of when it starts, in the year it starts. So the reference date for the Straja farm will be the year 2025, 2026. That's a year from March till March. So in the year 25 to 26, we will not receive subsidies for the Straja farm because you don't have a reference. So the first year you build up your reference, let's say, that's the best way I think I could explain it. You build up your reference, and then from the next year, you will, after that, you will receive the subsidies. So for 2026, we will receive subsidies based on the reference of the 2025. And this is only for the Straja farm.
Another question is also related to Straja. When will the Straja farm be fully populated so that it can operate at maximum production parameters?
It will be fully populated by the end of 2027. Maybe it could be even a bit earlier. Depends how if from now on everything goes smooth, it could be also earlier. But at latest, it should by the end of 2027. That means that you have a full year. The first full year of full production is 2028, let's say.
Another
so
question.
All the animals, so sorry to add, so all the animals, etc., will be there in 2027. But of course, you can imagine if a part of the animals only enter the farm in, I don't know, October or November, then of course they don't contribute so much through that specific year. So really, really full operation should be in 2028. And then I talk about 4,000 dairy cows and 1,000 young stock.
Okay, another question is related also with Straja and when the activity will start. You already mentioned, maybe if you want to add something else regarding Straja.
No, as I said, currently now from this weekend, they start to construct the milking parlor, the first rotor. We will have 2 rotors. So in 3 weeks, that is more or less finalized. There need to be to add some technology. So normally in the beginning of January, we are more or less on that part finished. But to start, as I mentioned, just because of the reference date, it doesn't make sense now to start half of January or whatsoever. So it makes mostly sense to start from the 1st of March. Anyway, we need to bring the animals there. You cannot bring, you can imagine if you bring, I don't know, 1,000 animals, we cannot bring that in 1 or 2 days. It will take weeks to bring so many animals to that farm. So we need to see, because of course the problem at the moment is the main limitation is that we have of course a big of the animals, a big part of the animals that need to be moved to the Straja farm are around the Appold area, and there of course we have also limited capacity. So there is clearly a push that we need to start normally ASAP, but because of the delay, probably I think in the end the management will decide to start milk on the 1st of March. Due to this reference date, so we have more subsidy incomes, because otherwise we would only have subsidy incomes in the coming years for 2 months, only for January and February, and that is that will remain until the Romanian government will change the reference date. And that can take another 5 or 6 years.
Thank you. Another follow-up question regarding Straja. So you will move in January and February only cows that are not yet in lactation. You will only start milking them starting March 1st?
Yeah.
Are there any other questions? So it seems that at this moment, no further questions. Just if you want to add something else.
No, I don't want to add. I mean, we were already really visible this week. Of course, we had the report, we had Feel the Markets, quarterly reporting, the Arir Gala today. So there were many moments already to take a glance of our results. We will also publish the presentation, have also a clear look about the slides that we provided in the presentation in regards to the milk price. Anyway, because I saw some comments online also on this. Anyway, you cannot just take the general or the average European milk price. First of all, that is to the average European milk price. Our milk price is not connected, so there it goes already wrong. But secondly, as well as I said, okay, when you have heat wave or whatsoever, it can also have consequences on your bonus. And in the average to 9 months, we had the 4.9% lower milk price as well, higher depreciation. What I can say for the budget, let's say, although I expected the question, but I will answer it myself.
Just came the question.
Okay. Because I had it yesterday. Many times people ask this. For the budget, I just saw the figures from October. They are promising. They're significantly better than the figures that were in September. So there we set the first step. So it will not be like last year that the 9 months were also almost like more or less the final results. So we expect to make again a significant step, and for the moment we expect that there could be a variation of 10% to the budget. But we have the analysis and the calculation that we did so far. We expect to still make quite a significant step towards to come close to the budget. Next, that I would like to say that we don't budget just to have the budget. We every year set, this year we set a competitive budget and also as a target. And but also through the heat wave, it also must be said that we miss until the end of the year, let's say between 4 to 5 million liters of milk, which is almost 1 month. But still, we will make a big step. So.
Thank you, Peter. So just to summarize, the question was about the 2024 budget, of course, and also it was more precisely on the guidance for Q4, having in mind that in average you had a net profit of around 7 million per quarter. The question was if you expect to reach the 9 million lei net profit in Q4, so to reach the budget, and you explained already.
I said the variation of 10% more. It's around this what we expect. So somewhere around that.
Thank you. And also another follow-up question. It's when do you expect the compost and the biogas to start showing up the revenues in the revenues and in the net profit in terms of in which year basically?
A part, I expect a few thousand tons next year. Then our production capacity, if everything goes successful, but okay, our estimation is not that we will produce next year 7,000 tons, especially not of organic fertilizer, because you only have organic fertilizer after it's certified. So that let's say that if everything goes well, in February somewhere we have the right recipe, or the end of February. Then we will send the samples when we have the right recipe to the institution here in Romania who is responsible for the certification of the organic fertilizer. That will take also approximately 3 or 4 months. So I think if that all goes well, then you could say in the second part of the year, so the second half of next year, that we can sell a part of our organic fertilizer on the external market, and that will be then probably a few thousand tons that we can sell. And I think especially that we see the prices and as well that now we will have the Straatje farm, which is also closer. Then we have also manure in that area of the fields closer. That our goal is in the end to sell all 7,000 tons of organic fertilizer outside of the group, due to that there are really good margins, and of course that we obtain those voluntary certificates. And yeah, we are quite confident in it. As I said, after the press release, we saw a huge interest from clients possible clients who look for 1,000 or 2,000 tons, but also we had already one who asked an offer for 5,000 tons. So that looks quite promising, and that's even then I'm only speaking here even about the Romanian market. But first we need to certify it. As I said, not certify as organic. It's approx 70 euro, has a value of sales price 70 euros per ton, certified between 230 and 300 euros. So the second part of answering short, the second part of the last 6 months of 2025.
Okay, and the same question was for the biogas.
Yeah.
Do you expect to have results in terms of revenue and net profit?
Yeah, so permitting, etc., starts, etc., all these kind of things. So that should be somewhere finalized, at least I hope. But now this in somewhere next year. Let's say I'm not allowed to say too much about this, but I don't expect that everything is finalized in Q1 and Q2. But somewhere next year we expect to finalize, and then the execution should take approximately 1 to 1.5 years, as estimated. But now construction is always difficult. We see that every time. If you depend on Mexico, so we expect 1.5 or 2 years. So if we count like that, so okay, 2025. So now, earliest it could be somewhere around 2027, let's say. Anyway, what we will do is we work currently on, as we have now our strategy till 2027. Currently, we work on a new document, a specific strategy document up to 2030. And in those, we will again revise the scenarios, and there we will integrate the biomethane production. But yes, I expect somewhere around 2027, let's say, that it could start to generate revenues. So then we have around that period, it's the busiest period. We have a fully operational compost, maybe even a second compost plant. We have fully operational Straatje, and then that would generate the incomes from the revenues from the biomethane, let's say. So in that period, yeah, that could be quite a boom.
Thank you. Another question is related to the type of clients that you have in mind for the compost. And the question is in the context that in Romania there are not many organic food producers, and many of them are having financial problems. So what is the type of clients that you have in mind for the compost?
What I can say so far is that we have from serious companies, also from resellers, from companies who would maybe mix it with their own product or whatsoever, or a certain chain, or we had even from a web shop. But of course, we need to do a clear due diligence, and we have experience also selling our milk to smaller factories. And especially to smaller factories, we have always certain policies in place that guarantees that we will not something deliver where we are not sure that we will receive the money for. So on that part, I'm not so afraid. But of course, the certification for the Romanian market goes way faster than for the European market for the organic fertilizer. So after that, we will also look outside. But I think we should also look if we really could obtain the 230 to 300 euros per ton without much work, without a heavy marketing campaign, without sending sales agents over Europe, etc. Then the margins are anyway pretty significant compared to the production costs. So then not necessarily see the incentive directly to export, although that is our initial plan, and that's also the reason we certified as organic fertilizer. But of course, there are not so many organic farmers, but there is also not so many. There's also not so much organic fertilizer on large quantities available, and that's also the reason those prices are there. But we look for both, and of course, we do look especially for small companies, we will normally apply the same. You could think of something that they need to pay beforehand, let's say, or at least a big part or whatsoever before we will deliver. But something like that, that will be the structure.
And one more question related to the growth of employees. Is there a problem, and if that is a problem for you?
No, but we will grow, especially for the Strasia farm. We try to balance it. We started also to hire from outside Europe. We have some farms, especially on the manure pipe machine, the 8 kilometer machine. We have people from India, Nepal, Bangladesh. I think that are mainly the countries. So we started to hire, and we are really satisfied with that. They deliver good work. We don't have any issues. Of course, it's always a bit more expensive than when you would hire locals, because you need to provide also housing, etc. But we are really satisfied for it. But our goal is always to be deep rooted in the community, and especially for the Strasia farm, as it is a plan announced already for a longer time ago. From that region, it's a region with a lot of unemployment. With the villages around, so we have a lot of requests for people who would like to come to work to us. So I don't see issues there. And of course, although we are really satisfied also to bring the foreigners, we will always find the right balance, or at least as long as that is possible, to find the right balance, to be deep rooted in the society, to contribute something to the society, but also not to have issues. You could imagine a rate of smell or whatsoever. But of course, it is also clear that salaries increased. In the past, it was no one had any issue to work on a Sunday. These kind of things, of course, get a bit more problematic. But so far, we don't have significant issues with hiring personnel. We offer also certain benefits to them, and we try to be a good employer.
It's a follow-up question here, and it says, compared to the higher technical level you start operating. So basically, I believe that is related that you will need more technical people when you will start operating the composts.
No, the compost is fully automatic. We will train the training is ongoing, and we will train several ones, because it works like that. You have, let's say, pre-composting. Several boxes with pre-composting with air circulation on it. There it stays. The dry manure, part of the dry manure and the wet manure, it stays approx 5 days. And then you just take it with a money tube and you put it at the beginning of the haul with the machine. So that part is really simple. Of course, we have our engineers, as we have our own engineers already working for all the milking parlors, etc. And this system is way simpler. And as I said, fully automated than the milking parlors are, especially the rotors, etc. That we can just include it into the team. Generally speaking, in our organization, of course, with our fast growth, etc., we focus way more on data analysis. We started also hiring this segment. It's the same on the business controlling area, etc. We will also increase a bit there to have even a stricter focus for optimizations, etc. So we are working on that part, and we want to make the next step there. But on farm level, it doesn't get that much more complex, as it is fully automated, and the machine goes only 2 times per day back and forward.
So it seems that the question is actually related to the biogas production. So the participant is asking about biogas production and technical level required there.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we signed, although in practice it's probably a bit a deeper cooperation, but just generally speaking, we just have a sales contract, let's say, or a sales agreement, or a sales starting cooperation. You could, I don't know how to call it exactly, but yeah, it's more or less a sales contract, let's say, to keep it simple, which means that we need to deliver X tons of feedstock. That is our responsibility. Feedstock can be several things, but in our case, it's in any case a sort of how you could call it waste, let's say, or label it as waste. And for those X tons, we get an X amount. As I said already, we expect revenues for those X tons. We expect revenues between 3 and 3.5 million euros on a yearly basis. So that is, in essence, let's say the cooperation. Next to that, of course, we also reduce our emissions with 90%. So also for ESG and preparing the Enagora for the future, as we see also the developments going on, especially in Denmark at the moment, especially on this matter. It protects the Enagora as well, to be green and to perform agriculture in a sustainable way. So it is not only the extra revenue stream, which of course is really welcome, but also it prepares the company for the future. And I think to add to that question, maybe as well, many times we got a question, okay, could you not more diversify your clientele, especially on the milk part? And I think this is with those two new projects, when we have the compost and the biomethane income stream, plus the voluntarily certificates, the dependency on the income stream of milk will be significantly reduced. Probably they will go, okay, we need to do the final calculations in the coming period for the new scenarios, but probably that will be somewhere around 50%, and the rest of the part, especially to the profitability of the company, will be provided by the biomethane and the compost plant. So this is a huge diversification from our income stream from what it is to now. Not the diversification is not necessarily huge to have way more clients on the milk side, but mainly to have diversified the income streams, which then makes the Enagora less dependent on milk and also on the volatility of the milk price.
Thank you. One more question. So now people started to ask, so it's very good. How do you see 2025 for DNE, having in mind that the complicated geopolitical image? Trump is in the White House, meaning possible trade tariffs impacting the global growth, uncertainty regarding how the Ukraine war will end, political environment in Romania, economic measures to adjust the deficits, tax increases in 2025. So the question to summarize, it's how confident are you that DNE can keep growing in 2025 in this difficult environment?
Yeah, it's clearly a difficult environment. We are also quite shocked what happened this weekend. So we hope that everyone makes up their mind, let's say, and solve this issue where Romania has ended up in. But for now, I don't see the main issue there, although of course, when this man really comes into power, his views are clear and are extremely nationalistic. So of course, there could be a risk as well as a president, but I don't think he has that much power on this part yet. What could be a risk, of course, is Trump with the trade tariffs. That could have a shock, especially the trade tariffs to China, and if that will involve that the European Union also needs to impose trade tariffs to China to not be overrun by the products produced by China that they cannot sell to the United States anymore, and they would sell them to dump on the European market. Of course, that there could be that China takes countermeasures, and they also announced last year already that they would either do that in the car industry or in the food industry, and of course that could have an effect on the milk price. So that is one risk, but that we need to see in the end if that really will happen. But of course it is unstable, and as Trump now is saying, he will clearly impose the trade tariffs. So that could be one risk. But anyway, then we need also to see what are the countermeasures, etc. And it will take time. So I don't expect that will have such a significant risk for 2025. Also with the World Trade Organization, etc. And that these things need to be negotiated. So that's maybe a bigger risk for 2026. But everything is quite unpredictable. So we need to see how it goes. So I think generally speaking, and especially I think we still could improve a bit our profit margin, although next year we will have further increase in depreciation as some new buildings also constructed this year will start to depreciate. So that will have again an influence on the net profit. So the operational profit indicator comes from the perspective, let's say, more important. And I think now when we could start to move the animals from the Appold farm to the from the Apold farm to the Straža farm. That from then we should start really to work to further optimize the Apold farm, where currently we produce around 70,000 liters per day, and that now there really need now to set the next step to start to produce 100,000 liters per day. So there's still room for growth, and of course that we expect some revenues as well on the compost part. But it's true on the world scale. I think the main risk is this with the trade tariffs, and yes, I'm not gonna lie, that could have an impact on the deficit. I spoke to some officials who are currently in the government and also some chief of banks the last couple of days, and I also asked them to their opinion. Generally, they don't expect huge tax increases, corporate tax increases, or these kinds, or income tax increases for next year. And that's probably especially given the political climate that we are in. So I don't see that risk directly, but of course it is hard to predict. Of course, there is an announcement, I think, the possible announcement that they will increase again the minimum wage. And I think that will come, given the current situation. Probably all parties will decide to do this increase. So although we don't have many employees who are paid on the minimum wage, but of course, if the minimum wage gets increased, it means automatically that we also need to increase at least a part of our other salaries.
I was just looking to see if further questions will appear. At this moment, no. Are there any other questions? I believe not. So
okay,
the floor is yours.
Then I thank you very much for this year and for the support and to be part of the DNAGAR Group family. And of course, we hope that you stay with us also next year and in the coming years. Also, we hope to see you next year on our Investors Day, as I mentioned already, where we will visit the compost plant and the Straža project. We'll soon publish our financial calendar that we will do somewhere in December. And there you will have all the events. Next year we will present our 2030 strategy, and we will give you some updates as well as soon as we can on the Straža project. Then I wish you all a great health to the end of the year, great holidays from the whole management team of DNAGAR, and yeah, have great and wonderful Christmas days and a happy end of the new year. And then let's hope without a lot of circumstances or uncertainty next year, yeah, that we have a positive year and that the stock exchange will look green again instead of this deep red as it looks today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next year.